Yes, that's right. I decided to build this sample around noise, just the sound of noise. I got it just by running a sound through an effect and it just gave some weird feedback. And I was just like, yo, why not just turn this into something? Art is anything, bro. You can literally turn nothing into something, like always. I just wanted to see what I could do and I'm just gonna break down what I made with it. So of course, that's the first sound I started with. I started off with that noise. I then created this melody with mood guitars. There's a very good concept library. I don't really use it that often, but when I'm trying to make more ambient sound of a guitar, like an electric guitar, it's a good one to use for sure. A lot of knobs that you can play around with. And I also used Keon's Multikeys, one of his sounds, yeah, this sound here. And I came up with this. So yeah, they're pretty much playing the same thing. I just copied and pasted the melodies on both, maybe moved some of the notes a bit, but I then exported it, stretched it, and pitched it down by 3 to make it sound like this. Here are the effects that I used. I used the CLA2A, of course, no explanation. I used the thermal, this preset right here. I used the shaper box. I used the sound shifter to pitch it down by 3 again. And then I also used the Pro Q3 just to get rid of some frequencies. The next sound that I used was this lead from Zebra 2. I love this VST. Literally just a basic synthesizer with loads of sounds. So yeah, just a catchy melody just to sit at the top of the whole sample. That's what this was there for. And I think that it does it well. For the effects, I added the thermal, of course. There's the preset I used. I used CLA2A, of course. I used the Valhalla. I used the pancake just to move it around, stereo field. I used, yes, a Pro Q3. The next sound I used was this key from Max Shooter and Keon, called Rolls Royce, this preset. So yeah, very simple, nothing crazy, just a bunch of triads. Onto the bass. So for the bass, I used this sound from Analog Labs. I did quite a lot of things for the bass, so I'm gonna explain it very carefully. So yeah, I exported it at C4 just to make a one shot with it so I could add some slides, and these are what they sound like. I like to do that quite a lot because with some of these synthesizers, the way you slide, you can't really slide the way I want to sometimes, so sometimes I just turn it into a one shot. So altogether, there's what it sounds like. And for the effects, I just added a 76 just to make the dynamics a bit better, a bit more, and make it a bit thicker. And I also cut off some of the highs. The next sound I used was this texture from Louis. I just used the CLA2A, a thermal on this preset. echo delays. And I also, no, I didn't even do anything. I don't know why I did that, but I also added this texture from Louis as well. For the effects I used, CLA2A, Portal, Pancake, and Pro Q3, of course, just to carve some of the lows and highs, as usual. I then decided to add some vocals. I wanted like a kind of choiry type of sound, so I actually did it myself. It's actually way more simple than it seems. Yeah, so it's literally just that, and that repeats throughout the whole sample. Just one little, whatever you call it, stack, I guess. But I just made it so that it's different notes, so that it's a chord. So I actually made this 2 semitones higher, just so that it had a lower tone to it. So yeah, I just pitched it down by 2. I added a mag, CLA2A, same thing. Soothe, yeah, just taming some of those harsh dynamics. A shaper box, a slower attack kind of, and make it kind of pulse a bit. Valhalla delay, a vintage verb, and the S1. This really like helps to make it more present. And then I added a Pro Q3, just simple curve, taming some of those frequencies and just cutting off a bit of the highs and the lows. So far, there's what the first side sounds like. Yep, that's the first side. Now onto the second side. For the second side, I leave quite a lot of the same sounds, but I just add a few extra sounds just to make it, just to switch it up a little bit, give it a different vibe. So I went on Django in Contact and I created this melody. So it's pretty simple, nothing crazy, pretty repetitive. So I ran that guitar through Tectonic just to change some of the frequencies a bit. To be honest, it's one of them VSTs that kind of does its own thing. You just need to experiment with what you want to hear. So it is kind of like a channel strip kind of, but there's a bit more to it. Play around with it. It can give you quite a unique type of sound. I really like this VST. And then I ran that through a CLA2A. I then exported that whole thing. So I exported that and I ran that through literally a whole heap of effects and put an Edison on it. So I used of course a sound shifter to pitch it down by a whole octave. I used the CLA2A, I used the shaper box, I used the transit, I used the delay, and then I used the lotus. This is the most important effect in this texture. If you don't know what a lotus is, it's basically a ferme. I used the flanges, Valhalla vintage verb. I used the Pro Q3, and of course, as I said, I'd run it through Edison. So yeah, that just repeats. As you can hear, it gives it a very, very nice, unique character, just as the Therme does. As you know, there's also cymatics illusions. I use that a lot as well, but I'd say that's probably better than Lotus, but Lotus is a bit more unpredictable. That's what I like about it. You don't really know what you can get. Like sometimes I open my project again and it sounds completely different, which is a good and a bad thing. So just make sure you export it. So yeah, I dragged that out and I chopped it to get this. Then Then I put another CLA2A and a delay, a half delay. The next sound I added was this Multikey from Keon. Yeah, so that just repeats throughout the rest of the sample. I added no effects to it. The next sound I used was Oliver Arnold's felt grand piano. This has become probably my favorite felt piano. I have quite a lot of felt pianos, but I really like the sound of this one, just the feeling it gives. Really atmospheric. And here's what I played. So yeah, as you can see, this piano wasn't the star of the show. Very simple, just there to add some extra layers to the sample. No more than 4 notes in each chord, so yeah, it's really bare, and that's what I like so much about it in this sample. For the effects, I just used a 76. I wanted the dynamics a little bit, just to help it sit in the mix better. And just, yeah, make it a bit more of a thicker sound. And yeah, I cut off some of the highs and the lows. Besides that, these sounds remain the same from the first bit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna play the full sample. So yeah, that pretty much wraps this whole video. I made this video just to show that you can start from any point when making music, art, anything. You don't have to go your normal ways of doing things all the time. You can switch it up, and that can create a whole completely different idea. I never thought I'd be making stuff starting with noise. Some people might have just discarded that and just thrown it away and done nothing with it, but I just said, let me just see what I can do, and it actually turned out fire. It actually turned out really good. So yeah, don't let certain ways of doing things limit you. You can always push past it and try and make something with it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, let me know anything you're thinking. DM me, my Insta's always there, and email me if you want as well. You can email me, some people do that. And yeah, I'll see you next time.